Hello and welcome Nigeria, welcome Africa. It's yet another interesting edition of Iron Issues, and today's edition we will be focusing on the exchange of baton, the outgoing administration, or should we say the outgoing administration, and the present incumbent administration from the federal level down to the state level. Recall that over 28 governors took their oath of office on the 29th of May, just yesterday, 2023, as they swore to serve their people, the people of Nigeria. And of course, at the federal level, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu ceased to be president-elect and became officially Nigeria's president. And his deputy, his vice president, Shatima, also took the oath of office to lead Nigeria going forward. And we'll be focusing today on these very important leaders of the nation. Ahmed Bola Tinubu, his inaugural speech has already begun to generate a lot of reactions from Nigerians as we speak today. We'll look at his inaugural speech and what it entails for Nigeria. And of course, down here in Akwa Ibom State, we'll also look at Pastor Umoino and his his deputy rather, Senator Akone Yanyi, who were both sworn in as governor and deputy governor of Akwa Ibom State. I mean, the fifth democratically elected governor and deputy governor of Akwa Ibom State. His speech also has generated a lot of reactions, and today we've had some, appointments made already to some key positions, and that is how you get government growing and kick-started. My name is Frank Cizedet, and it promises to be yet another interesting conversation here with us at Spectrum Television. But before we progress into our main discuss and of course unveil a guest today who will be joining us all the way from UK, a seasoned poet and lecturer at the University of Lagos State, we'll have to take a short pause and bring you a brief report. When we come back, we'll start with Ahmed Bola Tinubu's inaugural speech. Stay with us. Following the return to civilian rule in 1999, it's been 24 years of uninterrupted civilian rule, which came after almost 3 decades of military intervention in politics. One would have expected that the country, as an entity, will be better off than it is today. From the First Republic to the present political dispensation known as the Fourth Republic, one thing that has been largely attacked and is now very fragile is a sense of national unity Nigerians feel. This has been largely blamed on some political class who often resort to divisive tendencies along religious, regional, and ethnic lines. Although observers of the nation's political progress are of the opinion that religious tension colored much of Nigeria's early politics in the early days of independence, undoubtedly, the present bad blood and recent event witnessed across Nigeria, particularly during the just concluded general elections, is evident that now more than ever, Nigeria is more divided across these sentiments. The argument that serious efforts were not made for reconciliation after the Yakubu Gowon military coup, which led the government to declare that there was no victor and no vanquish. Another issue still generating reactions on the part of Nigeria is the question of national issues bordering on the minority challenges dealing with restructuring of Nigeria, the question of security, resource control, removing key developmental issues from the exclusive list, amongst others. These and many others have continued to generate reactions from Nigerians and call for actions on the part of the federal government. Despite these issues, one thing Nigerians won't fail to appreciate former President Muhammadu Buhari is the Electoral Law 2022, which despite highlighted challenges has been seen as the game changer. The improvement of the nation's political process and leadership, many have said, will be better felt in the 10th Assembly and the present administration, as politicians now know they have to take more time to perform in order to win re-elections from majority of Nigerians. Back here in Akwa Ibom State, the swearing in of entrepreneur cum politician, now governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umoino, and his deputy, a seasoned public servant cum politician, Akon Eyanyi, has been heralded with great expectations. One thing is common this time around at the state and federal level, and that is that there is a great need and a call and a big task of uniting the people beyond party sentiments, religious, ethnic, and all other divisive sentiments for the collective good. This task, both Pastor Umoino and Akon Eyanyi, as well as the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu and his deputy Kashim Shettima, must address as a matter of priority for the nation to prosper on the path of economic stability amongst other needs of Nigerians.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by gross level. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court, my lord.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Indeed, glad to welcome you back to Rise and Rather Iron Issues, coming to you live on Spectrum Television. Nigeria has seen a lot of rising and falling, and of course, as a result of the different challenges that has faced the country, many have looked to the incoming administration or the present administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as one that needs to be, sat on the fence and observed with kids' gloves until things gradually unfold. Part of the things that Nigerians have spoken about is the fact that just yesterday, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, spoke on the removal of fuel subsidy effective ending of June 2023. And barely a few hours after that, all over the country, we've begun to see nationwide queues at refuel stations and, of course, the hike in fuel prices. Many have blamed these on Ahmed Bola Tinubu as a wrong statement on his very first inaugural speech to Nigerians. But let's be fair, should Ahmed Bola Tinubu be blamed for the lack of conscience on the part of independent marketers in Nigeria who obviously are selling old stock at exorbitant prices? We'll take a short pause and bring you that speech by Ahmed Bola Tinubu, just the excerpt where he spoke on the fuel subsidy. And when we come back, we will be bringing on our guest.
On fuel subsidy,
Unfortunately, the budget that I've glimpsed before I assumed office and what I've had is that no provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
The decision of Mr. President to announce that subsidy on PMS is over, and this has really been a major challenge for NNPC's continued operation. We have been funding the subsidy from the cash flow of NNPC since government is unable to defray the cost of subsidy that is due to the corporation. And we believe that this will free resources for the NNPC to continue to do the great work that this company will do for our country, and it allows us to continue to function as a very commercial entity. And we welcome this development. Secondly, we would like to assure Nigerians that we have sufficient supply of petroleum products, particularly petroleum motor spirit in our country, and there is no reason to panic. We understand people will be scared of potential changes to price of petrol, but that is not enough for people to rush to fuel stations to buy more than what they need. But we are also assured that we are watching all the distribution networks and support facilities, and we believe that this will compromise will be restored very soon. Thank you very much.
Glad to welcome you back. My guest today is Henry Ogarako. He's a writer, researcher, poet, and of course a lecturer at the Department of Mass Communication. Hello, Henry. Welcome to Iron Issues.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. So how does it feel to be in Nigeria witnessing the new era?
Well, like the winner said, called his victory, we need hope. You know, it's natural, especially considering the situation with Nigeria, where nothing seems to work. Government comes in place, you know, there is that feeling of, okay, let's look at what's going to happen, you know. So the fact that there is a change in pattern from an outgoing government to a new one gives one that hope that probably something will change for the better this time.
But do you believe there is going to be a difference? Because just a few minutes after... All right, go ahead.
I am not expecting too much, and the reasons are obvious. What you see play out yesterday has become a rhetoric in the Nigerian political space. Every 4 years, a new person comes in to tell us the same thing we've heard before. During the time of almost all the past administrations we've had made a lot of comments, a lot of promises, but at the end of the day, nothing happened. You can remember 8 years ago, the enthusiasm with which we came into the new era of the outgoing government of, President, His Excellency President Mohamed Buhari. Today, what are we saying? He came, he excited our hope, but at the end of the day, they were all dashed. Nothing seems to work in Nigeria. So having seen a new person, there's always that, no matter how that for one can be, there's always that inner spirit telling you, okay, let's see what's going to happen. So my prayer is that they would live up to their words, unlike what we are already used to. So as a Nigerian, I am excited that a new man is on the saddle, but at the back of my mind, I am still entertaining that fear, that doubt, because that has always been the norm.
Okay, so what would you make of the first speech made by Ahmed Bola Tinubu to Nigerians? Were you satisfied by the things he stated as part of his official announcement to Nigerians, or the speech leaves a lot more to be desired on your part?
It leaves a lot more to be desired, considering the fact that he didn't actually provide, one, a timeline for some of the things he marshaled out to do. Secondly, he didn't give a concrete all these things are going to be done. And these are the things Nigeria would have loved to hear. Of course, he did mention something about the fuel subsidy, that it is gone. Fine. But how are you going to put this in place? How are you going to put this in place? The issue of fuel subsidy has always been an albatross in the Nigerian economy. But several governments failed to do that. But he's taking the bull by the horn. So let us see how he's going to, put action to his words to make sure that what we are hearing from Nigeria stops. Immediately the announcement was made, you see panic buying all over the places. Fuel stations, hoarding fuels, long queues all over the places. And it was quite expected because of the nature of that very comment. But if you ask me, I know that comment was made in the spur of the moment, and any other person could have fallen into that. For instance, this is a winner of an election, and this is his inauguration. There is this sense of excitement that can even overwhelm reason. Ordinarily, such a pronouncement ought not to have come this early. He could have taken his time, marshal up the way he's going to deal with it before telling people, that fuel subsidy is gone. And if you look at the presentation, you discover that that was not even in the speech. So it was a comment made at the spur of the moment, out of the euphoria of the inauguration. But I'm not sure he meant ill for the nation. I'm not sure what he had in mind was to cause the kind of panic that that very comment created.
All right, thank you very much, Henry. Let's look into other key indices highlighted by Ahmed Bola Tinubu in his inaugural speech. One of the key areas he spoke of was to create 1 million jobs in the area of digital economy. Do you see this possible, given the recurrent decimal scenarios we've seen played out in Nigeria, with politicians making campaign promises, coming into office and not being able to fulfill same in a period of 4 to 8 years?
Thank you very much. That's pretty much possible, considering the fact that almost everything in our world today is digitally driven. Every single thing you can think of has some element of digital connection. And Nigerians, especially the youth, are much, much tech savvy than most other parts of the world. Today, if you want to buy anything, you can buy online. If you want to pay for anything, you can pay digitally. Wherever you want to go, there is always a way you can have some digital connection to check your location and all that. So in terms of the economy and in terms of job creation, there is a whole lot of space that the digital space can accommodate a lot of people. And I trust that Nigerians, all they need is the right policy and they can come in. If you go to the world today, some of the people driving the digital economy in other places are Nigerian, even in the UK. So there is a whole lot that he can achieve if this particular space can be opened to accommodate so many people. So there is possibility of the 1 million job he says he's going to create. It is very possible in the digital space, I mean.
Okay, that's a good point that you've agreed. Ahmed Bola Tinubu can actually create the 1 million job for Nigerians from the digital space. But let's wait and see as Nigerians how this unfold. As far as we are concerned in Nigeria, the question of security of paramount importance to each and every one of us. One of the key areas highlighted by Ahmed Bola Tinubu happens to be that the funds from the fuel subsidy will be further channeled into providing the Nigerian military with the requisite training, the firearms, the manpower, and every other thing they need, welfare inclusive, so that they can function effectively. In the light of this, do you see this working to help the Nigerian military be able to combat the different security threats and challenges bedeviling us as a nation across the different geopolitical zone?
Thank you very much. That is quite possible. But like everything Nigerian, the promises made are hardly kept. That is on one side. Then on the other side, how about the people who are involved in carrying out some of these plans that the new president has? In previous administrations, we saw the amount of money that were earmarked for armaments, marking the improvement of the conditions of the service people. But at the end of the day, it comes back to the issues where none of these things are properly implemented. And we know of the cases where some of the military leaders are those at the hierarchy of the military, using these funds, siphoning them out of view. So the issue now is not just about making provision for these funds or channeling the funds that could have gone into fuel subsidy into security. The issue is how are you going to make sure that whatever it was that undermined the effort of previous administration does not repeat itself. Nigeria is not bereft of people that can take on terrorism or insecurity. Nigeria, I believe, has the workforce. The equipments are there. But how are these equipments channeled in order to make sure, are they even channeled in the first place? And like commentators have always been complaining, the hierarchy of the military are divided. From the Navy to the armed forces, all of them, they don't work in one accord. This is a very big issue. By the time they discuss and work as one, Nigeria will definitely go on and defeat this issue of terrorism and insecurity. So for him to say he's going to channel the money from subsidy into security issues, that's okay. But are we going to see the result, or is it going to be business as usual? So this is the question.
Definitely, these are still questions Nigerians are asking. But before I further jump into more detailed discussion on the economy, which of course Ahmed Bola Tinubu did say within a period of 6 to 12 months it should be given, is going to be able to increase the economies by 6 to 12% given the time. He's also advocating for a unified exchange rate. He's talked about investing into security, health, and of course, we've already talked about job creation. We'll take a pause and just listen more to Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and then we'll come back to dwell on this conversation.
My fellow citizens, I stand before you, honored to assume the sacred mandate you have given me. My love for this nation is abiding. My confidence in its people, unwavering, and my faith in God Almighty is absolute. I know that His hand shall provide the needed moral strength and clarity of thought in those instances when evil seems to reach the limit of human capacity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this day of spirit, as is our precious nation. As a nation, we have long ago decided to march beyond the dimness of night into open day of renewed national hope. The question is, and we must now ask ourselves, is whether to remain faithful to the work inherent in the building of a better society, or retreat into the shadow of our unmet potential.
Indeed, many things have been said to have kept Nigeria divided. You talk about ethnicity, you talk about religion, tribal sentiments, political affiliations, and what have you. All of these sentiments whipped out mostly by politicians who have been accused of using this to further divide Nigerians have been pointed as one of the things that has kept the country impoverished over the decades that it's been existing as a state. Now, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, just after the inauguration, Nigerians received text messages from the Presidential Transition Committee urging us to come together and unite as a people. My next question to you, Henry, at this point is, yes, we know this tribal, ethnic, religious, and political sentiments are in existence. But at this point in time, particularly with what played out during the just concluded general elections, do you see the possibility of Ahmed Bola Tinubu being able to unify or unite Nigerians, as there have been several calls from the international community, the Christian Association of Nigeria, and lots of others?
Thank you very much. I believe in his capacity to bring Nigerian people together. I'm not saying it because he won the election. I'm saying it because I've cleverly watched how he developed not just Lagos, but the quality of hands he was able to bring on board. Bola Tinubu of recent time, especially since he won this election, changed in the quality of output he was putting out there. Secondly, the new narrative around him is beginning to reflect the fact that he is someone that has an eye for the finest of the politics, an eye for the best among the best, an eye for that which is the best. Considering this narrative and the reality of our today, being that he inherited a greatly divided nation, religiously, economically, ethnically, in whatever context that you look at it, Nigeria is a divided country. And these divisions came to the fore in the just concluded elections. He cannot claim to be ignorant of this. A nation that is divided, it is impossible to govern a nation that is divided. So the onus lies on him to do everything possible. The fears is there. When the Muslim ticket came up, the Christian interpretation was there was a mission to Islamize Nigeria. But when Abiola and King Ibe came in 1992, Nigerians voted them in. That was a testing ground for that. I do not believe that religion is our problem. I do not believe religion is our problem. It is what we make out of religion. I do not believe ethnicity is our problem. It is what we make out of. Our economic differences is not a problem. If we are going to take his, antecedents to judge him, I want to believe that he would, and he has the capacity to unite the country. Of course, he has thrown the olive branch to the, to the political divides, inviting them. Of course, everybody may not have voted for him, but politics is over. Election has been concluded. Even though some people are still in court, the tide might change. But for now, let us be positive and give him, the right atmosphere to do his best for this country. I believe that he has the capacity to bring about unity. If only he can honor his word by not looking at our divisions, by not looking at ethnicity, religion, and what have you, letting him invite everybody that has the capacity to help him deliver his intentions. If he can bring them on board without minding these cleavages, he will surely achieve that aim of uniting Nigeria.
Okay, so in essence, you're advising or alluding yourself to the comment made by Ahmed Bola Tinubu that his appointment is not necessarily or might not necessarily favor the federal character principle of Nigeria in terms of appointment, but rather is going to focus on competence and proficiency and ability on the part of the individual to deliver, literally fitting round pegs into round holes and square pegs into square holes. You agree that is the best option to go?
What Nigerians want is someone who has the capacity to deliver the goal. It doesn't matter where the person comes from. It doesn't matter the religion. It doesn't matter the color of his skin. What the average Nigerian wants: food on his table, water, roads, social amenities, good environment, good policies that will help him be the best and contribute to nation building. It is only politicians that are using all these cleavages to make it look like we are divided. We are not divided. The cost of Gary in Urabanandem is the same in main market Onitsha. The price of petroleum is the same in Lagos and in Abuja and in Akwa Ibom. It doesn't ask you where you are from, the color of your skin, your religion, your ethnicity. It does not. In the same vein, someone who has the capacity to deliver, irrespective of where the... Okay, let's see. Now that they have come up on board, Muslim ticket, let us see how they are going to govern us. At the end of the day, much as I pray that history judges them right, you will still see Nigeria telling you that we have tried them. They were able to deliver, or they were not able to deliver. This kind of judgment will not depend on their religion. It will be a case of how their performance were and how the public judged them. So the issue of division and bringing us together is something that is not, as far as I'm concerned, is not rocket science. If you have an eye for the best, and he is able to bring in people who have the capacity to deliver. See, campaign is different from leadership. The narrative around him, gives some hope. The correct narrative around Tinubu gives some hope that, and having stated, and there is something about his speech. He keeps saying, how did he put it? There is a way he was expressing himself to show that he means what he's saying, a kind of swearing that he is going to deliver. So if we are to believe him, he was calling on us to believe in him. If he is to deliver, definitely that might come to be.
Definitely, if we are to believe in him and go by his statement, Nigerians are of the opinion we should maybe give Ahmed Bola Tinubu and Shetim Kashima a bit of, hope and trust that they might be able to deliver on the different promises they've made to Nigeria. At this point, we'll go on a short pause. When we come back, we'll focus on motion 2 which of course will focus more on Akwa Ibom State, the incoming administration or the present administration of His Excellency Governor Pastor Umo Eno and Senator Akune Yanyi as his deputy. Do stay with us on Eye on Issues. We'll be right back.
I therefore dedicate this day to the Almighty God and to you, the people of Akwa Ibom State, who in spite of the vital falsehoods of manufactured lies, pay in merely objectionable propaganda, raving about me and my capacity to serve as a governor. We choose the truth over lies and decided to arise with our vision. Let me thank very specially my political father, my worthy predecessor, His Excellency, Mr. Antonio Governor, who supported me against all odds to make this day a reality. To our immediate First Lady, Dr. Mrs. Luther Udom-Ilimo, and your companion-in-chief, thank you for your extraordinary support to my political father, and know that you will always enroll us anytime you look on your door for a wise counsel. We have said many times that after today, we will walk away from governance. Your Excellency, no one, no good father, gives back to a baby and abandon the baby. I don't want to be an orphan, and so please don't walk away. We will still need your wise counsel, and we will still need your assistance and your guidance. Let me also thank all the past leaders of our state from the military era. Brigadier General Tunde Ogbonha retired. Major General Godwin Abel retired. Late Air Commander Tuepe Ibansintanyi. Late Oberlipin Senu. Colonel Yakubu Banko retired. Late Navy Captain Joseph Adoisi, Big Captain John Ebiye retired. Urban Architect Victor Atai, the father of Living Akwa, the Senate Senator Barrister Bashir Obet Akpabio, CEO, and of course, let me especially thank the political father, Mr. Ben Emmanuel, CON. Thank you for your great service to our dear state. Each and every one of you came and laid the foundation by studying Akwa Ibom State as usual. And one government after the other, we placed the state on a different pedestal. We pay tribute to you and we acknowledge your services. Akwa Ibom State will forever be grateful to you. Please permit me at this point to put on my clergy's man's hat and quote from St. Luke Gospel chapter 1, verses 46 to 50, using the King James Version. And Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit has rejoiced in God my Savior. For he has regarded the low high state of his good servant. From here henceforth, all generations will call me blessed, for he is mighty. He's done great things for me."
Well, such passion there exhibited by Pastor Umoino, the governor of Akwa Ibom State. And of course, he's made a lot of promises, one of such being that he's going to ensure he provides an enabling environment for businesses to flourish in Akwa Ibom State. And that has also caught the attentions of Akwa Ibomites, particularly the younger generation. I'd like to come back to you, I guess, Henry Ogaraku, who is joining us all the way from UK. I know that you've been in Akwa Ibom some time back. And it could have been a long time ago, but I know that you probably are still in tune with what is happening here. Pastor Umoino, taking over from Deacon Udom Gabriel Emmanuel, is coming from the private sector. He has his own business, and consistently he's told the Akwa Ibomites that his focus is going to be on creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive, so that Akwa Ibom youths can actually venture into their own businesses and become boss and captains of their own, just like he is. Now, looking at the reality on ground, do you think, judging from his antecedents and the positions he's occupied, he has the political power to be able to effect these, lofty, amazing ideas he has for the state?
Thank you very much. I believe he has that. The golden boy has the capacity, not only considering his background, by each particular governor. There's always the paradigm shift as far as Akwa Ibom is concerned. When architect Victor Atta came on board, he remembered the general impression about the Akwa Ibom people. He started his social and attitudinal reorientation, which total and that was able to build certain level of consciousness. When Barrister Abadio came in, he broadened that scope to accommodate what he called the Akwa Ibom Adoke mentality. What did that do? From the Victor Atta era, where a majority of Akwa Ibom youths or young people were somewhat regarded like, maybe second class, mental, attitudinal and social orientation was coming in. The focus was building up that self-confidence. Now, by the time Akpabio came in, Akpabio brought in the Akwa Ibom Adoke mentality, where he started putting in place great infrastructural development, something that will make the average Akwa Ibomite feel that, yes, of course, whatever you can see in other places, the philosophical Dakada, movement, that broadened the scope, in the sense that you made the average Akwa Ibomite feel, yes, I have the capacity to deliver. Am I audible enough?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So the essence of the Dakada philosophy was to ignite in the consciousness of the average Akwa Ibomite the capacity to deliver. Now, the golden boy of the new era has come up with putting in place the environment for the average Akwa Ibomite, especially the young. Almost every young man, every young woman is a politician. This is a state that is highly political, that political consciousness. So there is a whole lot of youthful energy there that are being channeled in the area of politics. Remember what's it called? What's it called? There was one syndrome that special assistant. Syndrome. What's it called?
The Etoketok syndrome, I guess.
No, not the Etoketok. No, not the Etoketok syndrome. Was the Victor Atta's time. Victor Atta's time. The Akpabio Udom time. PA syndrome. Yeah.
Okay.
PA syndrome. PA syndrome. Almost everybody is a PA to a PA of a PA, So there's a whole lot of useful energy that is being wasted. So I am thinking the golden boy may have seen the potentials in the Akwa Ibom youths, and he now wants to channel it in the industrialization pattern which the former government laid the foundation for. So I think it is still in line with expanding the capacity of the Akwa Ibom people to take their place in the committee of, in the Committee of Development. There's a whole lot of energy among the Akwa Ibom people that's yet to be channeled in the area of economic growth and progress. And if he's going to hold on to his word and deliver the right atmosphere, the right economic policies, then these energies will be channeled in the right places. And Akwa Ibom will be where it should be in today's reality.
Now, let's talk about the extending of the olive branch. At the federal level, Ahmed Bola Tinubu has done that. Back here at the state level, Pastor Umoino has consistently said he would want to make appointment beyond party affiliations, party lines. He's also called for other candidates who contested the elections to join hands with him to build a Akwa Ibom state. Looking at the narrative of Nigerian politics and the kind of politics played in this side of the world, do you see a possibility of these opposition actually downing their tolls to join forces to build the state and the country?
Thank you very much. The possibility is there. Pastor Umoino is the governor of Akwa Ibom State. And we all know that Akwa Ibom is a PDP state. But there are still pockets of opposition there. He cannot rule without contributions from the opposition. He himself understands that for a country or a state to move forward, all hands need to be on deck. So the essence of the olive branch is to also accommodate, opposition views in order to push the state forward. And let me tell you, Akwa Ibom is one of the most blessed states in Nigeria as far as governance is concerned, as far as the quality of leadership they are bringing is concerned. When Akpabio came on, we remember the relationship between him and Atta. When Udom came on board, Udom made an effort to be close to every other past governor. We saw the efforts that he made. Pastor Moeno is also towing that same line of bringing everybody on board in order to move the state forward. Of course, it takes a heart to do that. If you go to Kano State, for instance, what happened? The new governor doesn't want to have anything to do with the past governor and the past government. In fact, he has vowed to probe and has also, cancel some of the appointments that were made by the past administration. Some will think about that and consider that as witch hunting or the wrong step. But it depends on understanding and it depends on what prevails on the state. The fact that Umoeno came from the PDP family, which has always been the foundation of Akwa Ibom governance, there is no way he would make efforts to accommodate as much opposition as he can in order to, substantiate the investment and the quality of hope the Akwa Ibom people have placed on him. He cannot rule by division. He cannot rule or go it alone without accommodating the opposition. So the extension of the olive branch is a step in the right direction. And being a man of God, I believe he has the capacity to, honor his word and give these people space to also contribute to the development and progress of Akwa Ibom State.
Well, they say time flies very fast when important issues are being discussed, and I'm afraid that's exactly what's happening to us right now. But I'd like to appreciate you, Henry Ogaraku, lecturer, of course, a poet and writer, researcher, someone with in-depth knowledge of Nigerian politics, for coming on Eye on Issues. And I'd like to extend an invitation. Probably this is something we'll have to do a lot more conversation on as the day progresses into this incoming administration. I'd like to believe you, oblige us those invites when it does come around.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Well, that's how far we can go on to this edition of Eye on Issues. I mean, it's a new era, it's a new dispensation. Back here in Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umoino, Senator Akone Yanya have taken over the mantle of leadership. At the federal level, we have President Ahmed Bola Tinubu and his Vice President Kashim Shettima, who have also taken over the mantle of leadership. The fuel scarcity is artificial, and so as we close today, I'd like to appeal to Nigerians, particularly those who are marketers, to conduct business having a human face. Sometimes we do agree that the problem we have in Nigeria is not about the leaders, but about us Nigerians who have refused to do justice and do due diligence and work with our conscience. My name is Frank Cesaret, and until I come your way, remain blessed and keep tuned to Spectrum Television as we will continue with the rest of our programming for the day. Do have a beautiful evening.